Get him money. Get him money.
Give it to him. Get his needs met promptly.
Are you ready?
Yes.
So I think we're on. As we're chewing.
Good evening. Today is Thursday, December 6th, 2018. Welcome to the Reuben Hoare Library Board of Trustee meeting. We wanted to welcome Susan Harvey, our new board member.
Welcome.
We're going to start with we're going to start with public participation. We do not have anybody here for public participation, so we're going to move on to correspondence.
So I received an email about a week or two ago from Kathy Nullett. She wants us to take a look at the window in the conference room. As I mentioned at the last meeting, the window slammed shut, so in order for the safety of the staff and our patrons, we asked that no one open the window. The problem is the conference room is the hottest room in the building because the heating system doesn't work in there. So she would like us to do something about the window. I've spoken with George, our maintenance person. He says all the windows in the building were cheaply made, and he doesn't know if they can be fixed. So he recommended that we go to PMBC to talk to them about replacing the windows. So I think that's our only option moving forward.
What type of heating is in the room? Do you know?
Baseboard.
Is it like a baseboard? Maybe we can have the baseboard just disconnected.
Can't, because there's only one shut off.
Beg your pardon?
It's not, it's a single
Doesn't it-
zone. And so even though there's only one shut off and it's out by,
No, just have it bypassed. Have that one register that's in the little room, just have it bypassed. So there'll be no heat in the room.
so you'd have to have someone plumb it from
Well,
where it is now.
Find where it is underneath it. You disconnect this end, and put a pipe between the two, and the radiator will be disconnected. I mean, that's just without me seeing it.
Yeah.
Okay, but it wouldn't be that expensive, and it would eliminate heat in that room. The only heat that would get in the room would be from the open door. That's something to think about.
Yeah, no, it's something to think about because we had asked him about shutting it off before and it's like all one zone, so.
Yeah, just if that's a short register for the room, it's not a big register. I mean, if the register goes all the way down the wall by the science fiction and goes into that room and it's all one long one, no, you can't disconnect that. But if it's just a short one in the room, there's no reason why you can't go underneath, cut it, and then just match the pipes together and just eliminate the whole thing in the
Or
room.
they just cut the register out and just leave a pipe.
That's what I mean.
No, I mean you don't have to go under. You can just.
Well, yeah, you could do it.
just
You
leave-
could do it in the room too.
you
Sure.
could just leave the
Whichever
heating.
is the easiest.
Yeah.
I'll ask George.
All of it sounds
And
attractive.
if they don't want to do it, we will.
So
Why
that's
low
the
floors?
option.
Yeah.
What was the other option you mentioned?
To replace the window and fix the
To fix the window.
Because the window is a hazard anyway, even if you fix the heat issue,
Yeah.
the fact that anyone unattended who attempts to open that window in the room is going to end up like Julie with their fingers.
Yeah.
It's not the only window in the building that's like
Right.
It's heavy, it comes down heavy or something?
These are-
There's no window
these are
weight in
not
it?
new
No.
windows.
No,
No.
it's like, you were there the other day, weren't you?
Yeah.
That's how they are.
They just slam shut.
Okay.
Helen and Margaret showed me in the staff room how you need 2 people to open the windows.
Or Sam.
Or just
Or
Sam.
I usually am climbing up on the window and he's like, just get out of the way.
But still, if nobody on staff can open up the window without assistance, that is an issue.
It's a safety thing.
Yeah.
You know, fire or whatever.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And books burn. I've been doing it
So do
for
librarians.
years.
Moving on to approval of minutes.
So can I just, so what's the action item? We're gonna-
I'll talk to George, and if that doesn't work.
Just let us know, we'll fix it. Yeah.
So I saw no issues with the minutes from November 8th. after having read through Henry's diligent work.
I didn't see any either.
I make a motion we accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the minutes from November 8th, 2018 have been passed. Treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report. I emailed Steve Venuti the other day, and I CC'd our chairman. Okay, and I have received no answer. I have no idea if there's a Barth, and I do not have the balances. But I'll keep working on it.
They're at training. They're all at training.
Still?
Still.
Okay.
It's nonstop training.
All right. All right, well, that's okay. And that's the end of the treasurer's report.
Okay.
Well done.
Friends report. Sam and I attended the Friends. Jenna had a prior commitment, and so there was a lot of talk about the Holiday Bazaar, which was just last Saturday.
Yes.
Rachel Gallant attended the Friends meeting to show her wares that she and other volunteers work on for the year to sell at the Holiday Bazaar. And all the proceeds goes to the Friends account, which is then used towards the library. I'm sorry. We also spoke about the stuffed animal sleepover. 75 kids attended, and 65 stuffed animals stayed the night. We sold a good amount of T-shirts. Sam, did you have the numbers for the T-shirts? No. Okay, I'll get those.
Fun night.
It was.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun, and of course, the Friends are raffling off an American Girl doll, which was at the bazaar along with a drone. And it will continue to be offered as a raffle until December 15th. You can find both of those at the front desk of the library. In addition, sorry, I'm looking through my pages. The Friends elected a new slate, and Kathy Christophic is the new chair. Sarah Rombacher is the vice chair. Treasurer is Steve Byen, and membership is Mary Martin. And I have a list, Henry, of all those,
Thank you for that.
of that entire slate.
Okay.
I also have a list of the current numbers of our donations and what is in our Friends account as well. And I have a copy for you, Henry. We have $190 in Friends membership dues. In the Friends account, there's $25,329.47. They discussed the ODK event again at the meeting, and ticket sales were $3,540, with the total event making $4,226, which was transferred to the new building fund. Hashtag 01460 building community has 56 pledges totaling $91,210. Not all that money is in yet. And since January 2017, we have received 246 donation gifts, totaling $125,288.50. We have received that money. So with pledges and money received, we have $257,581. 6 rooms have been bought out of the new building.
Great.
So thank you for sitting through that. So I'm going to pass this to Henry. These are all the numbers. So if you didn't get all of them,
Yeah,
it's all right.
that's good.
And anything else, Sam, that I missed from the Friends meeting?
Yeah, the raffle prize announcements will be December 15th. And that day, those Friends are also holding a pop-up sale in the periodicals, newspaper area, magazine area, where they'll be selling CDs and Do you know if they're selling anything else? Or just
CDs?
What they,
Is it?
yeah, someone donated an awful lot of CDs, and I think Sarah went to some friends with friends type meeting, and they suggested a great way to sell them is to just do a pop-up sale of the same format of things. Like sometimes you might have a lot of DVDs or CDs, and so that's what they're going to do.
Just throw them out there?
Well,
everybody come
in bins, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're also doing the Santa letters again.
Yeah. I
What's
saw
the
that
date
in
on that?
newsletter, Yeah,
What's the date on that?
15th,
15th.
next Saturday,
Ooh.
a week from this Saturday.
I believe the Friends made around $1,300 total at the bazaar.
Oh, great. And did we ever get those numbers for how much the book sale in October made?
I don't know what the numbers are.
Okay. Is there anything else regarding the Friends? Okay, we will move on to fundraising and public awareness committee report.
That is supposed to be me, and I'm looking at my calendar trying to remember. There was one night a couple of weeks ago where I had literally 3 meetings in one night, and I think I looked at all of them for a couple minutes, and my brain is like fuzzy. So it was somebody there and saw me there? Like, was anybody else there? So I don't have an adequate report for you, Demetri. I apologize. The meeting that I remember was before. I read past my bedtime, and I know that there's a meeting next week.
Yeah.
It's on my calendar. So I don't actually know if there's been a meeting in between.
No, I went to it too, and I can't remember.
Oh, dear.
But you know what? We I know that when we were at the meeting, we discussed some of these numbers that I just read out, and they slightly altered because the Friends meeting obviously occurred after them, after the fundraising.
Okay. So I'm not
meeting,
like
so-
super crazy, just a little
Yeah,
crazy.
and
So
we
you
had
re-
talked about
okay.
the ODK
Okay.
event, and yeah, we have a meeting next week. I believe it's on Monday.
I think it's Monday.
It is.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I'll
Trustee.
have better notes for next month.
Trustee updates.
I have no real updates. I'll give you a little bit on the fundraising, that the mini golf event has been confirmed for, it's in the March date, March. Yeah. They have a confirmation from the people that ran it last year, so.
I just want to say, when I was here last Saturday, after the holiday bazaar ended, I came back to bring some chairs and some tables back, and it was really hard to leave the Cooper room because it smelled so good. Well, I don't know what it was in there that smelled so good, but it really was. Or whatever that was.
Well, I led a class which was sponsored by the Littleton Community Farm,
Yeah.
and passed out symbiotic cultures of bacteria and yeast in order to make kombucha, which is fermented black tea, and we also made fire tonic.
Okay.
So in the room you probably smelled horseradish, ginger, turmeric, onions, lemons,
Yeah.
garlic,
Wow.
rosemary, cloves, red pepper, and black peppercorns, and apple cider vinegar.
Okay, well, see, it was reaching all the way upstairs, and it just was pulling people down the stairs because whatever it was smelled good.
Right, yeah.
So
So it was
whatever that
a
was.
really good event, and it was a good place to have it. So I appreciate that we had space,
Yeah.
on the very limited space that we have. It was good to get those 2 hours to.
Yeah. It
do
looked
that
like a
class. Yeah, it was
full,
fun.
looked like a full room too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was
Oh,
good.
congratulations on that,
Thanks.
and it smelled really good too.
Yeah,
So.
good.
What are the benefits of fire tonic?
Oh, it just burns a hole in your esophagus. I have a shot of it a day. I imagine that, along with other things, convince me that I'm of very good health. It's hard to know. It's pretty potent stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay,
Mhm.
that was it for me.
Susan, do you have any?
No,
Okay.
There you go. That's the easy way out.
I'm just tickled that I actually got the email again. You know, I emailed Demetra this morning and I said, the goblins took over my computer and I haven't seen anything, so she very kindly forwarded things to me. So yeah, I had to change passwords. Sam saw this afternoon. Yeah. Help me out with that.
Outlook is a tricky service, definitely.
Yes.
I had issues with it when we first set up our MPLC accounts too. I wasn't getting any mail.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
I attended the Holiday Bazaar and got to purchase some of Rachel Gallant's beautiful table runners and bags, and her husband made a birdhouse made out of Philippine wood, and I'm very excited to give these gifts as Christmas presents this year. So they were very, very fine, and I really appreciated helping out the friends and the library.
I wasn't able to be at Libtrust for a long time, but I walked through that night, and it was just always fun to see the library jammed with kids running around and adults and people I don't see all that often, and it was really just fun to see all that activity and that energy. So that was really cool.
It was a very busy one.
It was
this year. Really busy.
And it was just they're just I don't know. And as my daughter gets older, the little ones get smaller. I forget how little they are. And also, just another really quick thing to mention. I am a part of a writing group that meets in the small meeting room downstairs. They've been meeting here for 20 years maybe, and I've only been part of the group for 5 or 6, and I'm not always able to go. But the group leader invited an editor from Boston to come and meet with our group, and it's just really nice to be in a comfortable space in our local library with my writing group, talking to a writing professional, and it was the same night as, I think, was there a runner, somebody who was a marathoner?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so it was the same night, and it was funny, people kept walking by looking for that program. It was just like the 4 of us in this room with the editor, and then everybody walking by looking for this. So it was just another sort of active night in the library, and it was fun to sort of be here and kind of be part of that too. So nice that we have our little cozy spaces in our library.
Right, so in addition to the class that I had on Saturday afternoon, I also was at the Holiday Bazaar and volunteered for the first 2 hours of the bazaar with the Friends table, and it's always good to see people coming by and picking through the holiday books that we have there, which we collect over the course of the year. Anything holiday comes in, it gets culled out to the side. And I too purchased those bags that Rachel and Judy White make with the book and the stuffed animal, and sent them off to my nieces in California. So yeah, it was nice. It was a good time.
Great. Thank you everyone for sharing. Director's report.
Catherine's resignation created a vacancy for a new library tech. I posted the vacancy internally. We had 4 employees apply, and I chose Julie Fredrickson for the position. Helen, Andy, and I were the interviewers, and we all felt that Julie best fit what we were looking for, but it was very close between everybody that applied. I have placed the I Sleep Past My Bedtime shirts on display by the elevator, because I wanted to get them out of my office for the most part. So they're now on display, and people can go up to them and take them out themselves and take them to the desk and pay for them if they don't like. And there's also a sign saying you can go online and find them there too. There was a leak in the Cooper room on November 20th. The leak was also in one of the bathrooms. Apparently it was caused by, there's a switch outside of the building that controls the AC, and someone switched it off, and that caused the leak. So to fix it, George put a lock on the switch, and so hopefully that won't happen again. And he's going to work on replacing the tiles that were damaged. He's had some family issues lately, so it's taking him some time, but he's going to work on it. He also fixed the bathroom. I think the bathroom hinge was also broken. He fixed that part. But So that's where we are with that. I asked the town IT department to purchase 3 laptops for the library to use as patron PCs. This will allow patrons to basically sit wherever they want in the library and with a PC instead of having to sit at one of the poles. It'll also work for the teens because they like to sit at the tables. And so they're working on setting them up now. They already have them. According to IT, 2 of them are set up. They still have to set up 1 more, and they're also going to buy us a wireless printer so that they can print from the laptops.
Very nice.
Because our current printers are not wireless, so they can't do that.
What's the procedure for getting one?
I think I'm gonna make people sign their life away. Basically just other libraries ask for ID, and just record the ID, or maybe we'll put barcodes on them and have them check them out.
Barcodes would probably be the way to do that. I mean, we have a lot of laptops and Chromebooks at school that we loan out, and we track them with coding, absolutely, because they wander.
Yeah. An electric car charger has been installed outside in the front parking lot. It is not ready to go yet, but I've been told that it will be ready next week.
Will there be a switch that we can flip? No, I'm just kidding.
Also, I asked MBLC to write a formal letter confirming that the trustees have control over the new building if it's built. So meeting rooms are not subject to any rules by MBLC. It's under the control of the trustees, just like in our current library. Okay. So MBLC will write a formal letter to that effect, which they're sending out to us.
Is this, by the way, the electric car charger, is that the first one in town to be installed on town property?
No.
There are others.
Light and Water has
Light
them.
and Water has it.
Yeah.
Has it too.
And there are also a couple at the train station.
Oh, good.
And there's a couple at Acton Toyota that are
There's 3.
Yeah,
4 at Acton Toyota.
yeah,
4 at Acton Toyota, 4 at the train station,
yeah.
2 at LELD.
Yep, and then as far as the budget goes, we're chugging along, doing pretty well with books, and the salaries are doing well. And the rest is the stats.
Are you soliciting for another notary? Trying to talk somebody into it?
Yeah.
I am a notary. I'm a notary. Yeah.
Want to come to the library?
I do come to the library on a pretty regular basis, actually.
So does the promotion makes Julie a full-time benefited employee now?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll be hiring a non-benefited position to backfill?
Right, she was a library assistant, so we're hiring another library assistant. So.
Okay. And what are we doing to cover the teen hours that Catherine was doing? Who's in charge of teen programming and things now?
I'm doing Girls Who Code. The other teen programs weren't super popular, so I'm going to try to create a makerspace program soon. And Jen is doing a lot of the other programs.
Okay.
She always does.
The Oreo program seems to be fairly popular.
The
Oreo
Oh, the
program.
Oreo program? Yeah. Who doesn't like Oreos?
Some of those were pretty not likable.
Some Mark. Mark doesn't like some Oreos.
She had like 20 different varieties of Oreos. Some of them were not really.
Like shrimp flavored or something?
They
That's
were-
not an Oreo. I'm sorry. No.
Okay.
Anything else you'd like to add about the director's report? All right. Appears we have no old business,
You're so efficient.
so we can move on to new business. Ray Grandy, recipient update.
So Tori came twice, and we have not seen her since. It was hard to even get her in the library at first. I tried calling her, didn't get it. I kept getting her voicemail, the voicemail wasn't set up. Finally, I had to call her mom. And her mom told her to come in. She did come in twice, and we have not seen her again. She hasn't called. So,
Anything I can do about that? I see her every day.
send her to me.
Are there
Do we-
established schedule that she's supposed to be meeting that she's like not met yet, or was it just not?
Yeah, she had set up something with Andy to come in, and then she just stopped coming. Apparently, two times she came, she was really great.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
No, she's a big help, or has been a big help in the school library.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe something's going on. I'm not sure. But yeah, if you see her,
I'll check in. Yeah.
it's out by my office.
And can you give us an update as soon as you hear?
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause if she doesn't want to, we should know that.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of other eager applicants that would love to
That's
take her
right.
position.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I heard from Caleb. Caleb was looking for a job in college, and he asked me for a reference. So, yeah.
Cool.
He said he loved working here. So.
Caleb was our scholar recipient last year.
Yes, I had him as a student. I have
Officer.
his sister this year, sorry.
No,
I
that's
had his brother,
Yeah.
so, yeah, I know that family.
He was excellent.
Yes.
So we're gonna move on to officer slate. Last month, it was discussed that since Katie was formerly our vice chair and had stepped down, and now Susan Harvey has filled the vacancy, that we are out a vice chair. And the concern was that in the event that I cannot make a meeting and chair it, who would chair in my stead? So I thought that we could open up the discussion, because as it was brought up to last meeting, as to whether or not you all feel that we need to add a vice chair to our board, and how you would want to proceed with that.
Okay, I just have one question, because under new business it says Officer Slater, you were not choosing any other officers, we're just talking about vice chair.
Right.
Okay.
So we just, when we were doing the policy discussion, we decided we didn't need a vice chair position, and that just one of the other officers could run in your absence. And since at least one of the officers had to be here to make a quorum, that wouldn't have been an issue. So I don't feel a big need to have a vice chair. If we want to have one, we can, but I don't see a big need for it. We can have a pecking
agree.
order if you really want, but, or,
So-
the other two positions arm wrestle for whoever leads the meeting.
So are you gonna make a motion to eliminate the vice chair position, or are we just gonna not gonna?
We kind of already did,
Mhm.
because we took it out of our policy,
Okay.
right? So,
All right.
All right.
So whoever draws the short straw in your absence will run the meeting.
Okay.
All right. Good. Okay.
Library page.
We're not doing it.
Okay. This one just said it.
Gee.
Okay, building maintenance issues regarding the leak, the windows, and lights. And this was touched upon in our correspondence. Sam just described it in his director's report. But Helen, if you wouldn't mind, could you just explain in more detail what happened right before Thanksgiving?
What happened right before Thanksgiving? I was home eating dinner, and I usually respond to Andy pretty quickly when she emails me, and because I didn't, all of a sudden she called and said, I went in the bathroom downstairs, and I looked up, and it looked really wet, and then I touched it, and she said the ceiling tiles then came down, and there was ice under it. So, I said, okay, I'll be in, because this was the week you went home for Thanksgiving. So I came in and I thought, okay, it's leaking, and it's leaking in a straight line right through the Cooper room. The tiles in the Cooper room ceiling are wet, and then we went and followed it into the kitchen, and that was really wet also. So I thought, if nothing else, we have to make sure we can't let it leak all night. So I didn't have the maintenance person's cell phone number. We now do. So I just kind of worked backwards. I gave you a buzz,
Right.
hoping that maybe you knew someone's phone number, and I emailed Anthony, and I didn't hear back. So what happened was I started Googling George Dumas, and I knew where he lived in Air, so I got his home phone and proceeded to call him, and he answered the phone, so God was on my side. And I said, George, I hate to do this to you. He goes, no, I'll be right there, no problem. So he came down and removed the rest of the tiles and basically, said he'd get the HVAC person in first thing in the morning. It did not look, it looked like it was dripping from the HVAC, not what we thought a plumbing leak. So that was good.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, he's been, checking in on us. That bathroom has been ongoing. That one, the other one. I mean, the walls have been taken down for leaks. For some reason, I don't know. I think it's just aging out that piping in those two bathrooms.
This particular picture I have poor lighting, and I'm sorry, but the next day I came in and Helen showed me where all the damage was. And then yes, it was from the bathroom, and it extended all the way through the Cooper room to the staff room. And I had not realized that the building gets so overheated they have to turn on the air conditioner to cool it down.
Right.
So the and as was figured out, someone accidentally shut off the switch, but the coolant was leaking. Overnight, black mold grew on the ceiling tiles above the staff lounge where staff eats. And this is in the Cooper room too, where we have programs for the entire town. And there are children and seniors who use the Cooper room. And this is a big concern. And, I have family members who have had issues with black mold in their houses. And for some people, it doesn't affect them at all. And for others, they develop extreme respiratory issues. And that happened to my daughter and a family member of mine. In an old house that we lived in, we had black mold, and she was getting sick every month. But nobody else in the house was affected. And then we figured out the problem. We moved and all that good stuff. But the point is, that should not be in our public buildings, and it makes me extremely upset that something like that happened, and that it happened overnight is just astounding to me. And these are issues that I asked the staff for them to keep a log of the incidents that are occurring in the building, because then we have the windows that don't open properly, or they fall on staff members' fingers. And Helen took a picture of Julie's finger after the window fell on her. There are interns that have slipped and fallen into windows, and the windows have broken, and people who are falling on the stairs and injuring their nose and their face, and the lights in the young adult area that just randomly flicker or just turn off. And the last thing that you want is anybody who has sensory issues to, I don't know anything about epileptic shocks or,
But to have something triggered by
right,
blinking lights.
exactly. But that's all that it takes, just the one person who has a reaction to it, and then it shouldn't even be an issue. So we're keeping logs of these incidents, and this is something that we need to start communicating to the public and making a noise about. And that's what we're going to discuss at the Public Awareness Committee on Monday, since we are technically supposed to spread public awareness about our new building.
So is there a list of issues that George is currently working on or knows about, or?
He knows about them.
But there's a document somewhere that has these, or just they're
Word of mouth.
Yeah, we've told them. I've emailed them, so maybe that should.
So we probably should create a spreadsheet of what the issues are, when we report them, and what the resolution is, if there is one, right? And when it's, when it's resolved.
I don't.
Some of the things
throw
are just.
George under the bus because I'll say
I'm not
sometimes
trying to
it's a
throw-
sub that's supposed to show up, like the electrician, the light
No.
switches are taped right now because there's, when old switches, you have to tape them up until you can change the box out
Yeah.
because they no longer work. And that it's been the electrician, he has called for it and then it got,
No.
so it's.
No,
been-
I'm not
yeah.
trying to throw George or anyone else
Yeah.
under the bus on this. I'm just saying we should maintain a list of issues somewhere that we know are current problems or deficiencies with the library. When the issue was noticed, when it was reported, and if it was resolved, when and by whom,
And
Right.
the cost.
and how much it costs, yeah.
Mhm.
So it'd be good to create that list, right? And just, whether it's a Google Doc or some other spreadsheet that, we can start maintaining, keep going. I mean, they must have one for this building in general too, or somewhere, so it would be good to maintain that list. Might also be good to maintain a separate list of, like the injuries that happen in the building, the people that fall up the stairs or down the stairs, or get their finger caught in the window, or go through a window or whatever, right? Just so we can document those somewhere else, not necessarily on the same list, but so you have an idea, right?
Agreed.
Would anyone else wish to comment on the issue?
I think we need a library.
That's a, oh my gosh, yes.
Get working on that.
Trust fund transfers.
We can't do those without the Bartholomew report, so we'll have to wait for next month.
Tabled for January's meeting, and hopefully we will have the BART by then. Which brings us to our last.
As an aside on that, whenever I talk to Steve, and he's trying to get us to Barth, if it's our meeting is at the low end of the month, first, second, third, the Barth report doesn't usually come in until 4 or 5 days after that. So it may be 5 days from now or the middle of next week by the time it comes.
Right.
Okay, and if you wanted to do anything, you'd have to use the last month's report. But that's basically every time he tells me, oh yeah, it's not in, it usually doesn't come in until such and such.
Okay.
Naming rights and endowment approval. So we have received another gift agreement from an anonymous donor who has pledged a substantial amount of money and wishes for us to look over the gift agreement as amended by the donor. There's also a fund that the donor wishes to create to put additional donations over the years towards the new library and for library purposes, hopefully when we get a new building. So we are to look over this gift agreement, and if anybody has any issues with the wording or what the gift agreement entails, it's open for discussion.
I have no issues with the document as drafted.
Can I just ask a quick question? There's a date of September 2015 in here, is that correct?
Yes.
I am as well. I have no issues with this document.
Do you make a motion?
Yes. because it's different wording than our
Standard.
standard,
Right, yeah.
yes, gift agreement.
Can I just say something? Doesn't have anything to do with the document. As far as I'm concerned, the document is fine. Do we have a system by which we can keep track of each gift?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is it?
There's
Does it have like a number?
Little green light.
Little Green Light, we have a database that has all the gifts and all the pledges in them. And how much, and if you've made a pledge, how much has come in on that pledge. and-
Okay, how are they sorted by? How are
It's a database you can get at,
Oh, I should go look at that. Okay.
um,
And my other question was anonymous gifts. Do we have an answer as to whether we have to go against somebody's wishes to leave something anonymous because a document may end up in our official records of the meeting and somebody asks and we have to give out their name? That doesn't seem quite right. Actually, it doesn't even seem moral. And I would think by the law, we wouldn't have to. If we were asked to keep it anonymous, then we shouldn't have to give it out either. Or we could say, okay, we'll give you a copy of it, but the names will be redacted. Anything that refers to anybody's name will be redacted, and we should just find out so that there's not an issue further down.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Diane about that. We probably have to give out the document, but we can probably redact the names.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And the amounts.
Yeah.
I'll
But we
ask
should
Diane.
we should be sure of that.
Yeah,
yeah.
makes sense. Good point.
So would anyone like to make a motion to approve this gift agreement?
I'll make that motion. I'll make the motion that we accept this gift agreement as is written.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
All opposed? Okay, the naming rights and endowment approval, as worded in this particular gift agreement, has been approved. Other business?
Yeah, I have a question. Maybe this was discussed some at our last meeting, but we need to have a plan on if we're going for go for a May vote or a October vote, or what we're going to do, and when we're going to make a plan, and you know what we need to get in to do that. Right? I don't know that we want to decide, you know, today or not, but if we're not deciding today, we need to decide in January, May, or October. And if we're not deciding today, then we should know what information we need to make the decision in January. So that at least we need to decide today. I spoke to Anthony at the Holiday Bazaar. He's willing to come to one of our meetings and talk to us about it. He's willing to help us with whatever in town, inside of our meetings, outside of our meetings, whatever we need to go forward with this. So he's a resource we can use. Either have him at our next meeting or not, however it works. But we need to really decide, because if we're going in May, the ballot initiative type, the get out to vote initiative has to start happening, probably ramping up pretty
But
quick.
after the first of the year.
Yeah.
So, so is there more information we need to make that decision, or are we just going to, or do we just want to make the decision now or in January?
We can't make the decision now because I don't think because it's not under new business. I don't think we can vote on it.
Okay.
I would agree with that. I think we should have it on for new business in January.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think we should invite Anthony to come to our meeting.
Right, and we can
And we should,
spend this month.
sort of
Figure it
looking
out.
into the benefits and for going in May versus going in October or November.
And do we want to like talk to other boards formally or informally, or in the intervening time? I mean, we could go. I mean, we could ask the selectmen their opinion, either at a meeting or one-on-one, and
Yeah.
same with FinCom. And I'm just asking if there's, or are we just going to, are we trying to make the decision in this room, or are we going outside of this room as a concerted effort in who's doing what?
I mean, to my mind, it makes sense to go to the other boards, either formally or informally, to say, do you have a preference between spring or fall? And if you have a preference, what is it? And then when we talk about it in January with Anthony here, we can perhaps come up with what is the most responsible and respectful time to bring it in front of the town. And the other boards will have a sense of, oh, well, this is what we're looking at for fall town meeting, or this is what we're thinking about for spring town meeting. So I think that there's sort of an elegant way to find the nuance in when's the best time for us to ask.
Okay. Okay.
Definitely on the agenda for next month, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
And we won't find out about funding until late January, correct?
And maybe even later than that, because some of the libraries have asked for extensions.
Right. So it could be moot in that we might not have the funding to even ask for a May vote.
well, we can ask for the May vote even if we don't have the, we can ask for a May vote even if we don't have the funding, right?
Provided the funding comes in July, because if it doesn't come in July, then we have to ask again, because it has to be within 6 months of the funding, correct?
Right, but we can ask for funding.
We can fund the whole thing now.
Right.
We can ask well in advance. We have to ask, we don't have to ask within 6 months of the funding. We have to ask before 6 months after we got the funding.
Got it,
right?
okay. All right, fair enough. Yeah.
I think.
Yep, I think
Okay.
right now, yeah.
And after we made the decision, I think then we have to also go back to all the boards and
Yep.
tell them too, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now it can be like public input type thing.
Right.
Makes sense
Okay.
to get input.
Okay,
All right, so for January.
So, with that in mind, I do not believe that there's anything left that anyone feels they need to discuss. Someone like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
The next meeting is when?
I'm sorry, thank you for that. Is Thursday, January 3rd, 2019.
Okay.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in
Second.
favor?
aye.
Hi.
Thank you. We're
And by the way.